Alright, welcome back. This is episode 3. We are picking off directly after the ambush site, after speaking to the Patriarch upon entering Ranger HQ for the first time. I noticed in my last video there was a low-grade hiss sound throughout the entire video because my mic was open the entire time. So I wanted to figure out how to fix that problem. It took me a little while to figure out how to deal with that. So now there should not be a hiss at all with the mic open. So last episode we told the Patriarch that he should give this Dorsey prisoner a trial. So we're going to pick up from here. This video will mostly be NPC dialogue and interactions with the NPCs, and I'll have some commentary on various things I've discovered upon playing this a couple times. The next video will focus on creating the next 2 rangers to fill out the 4 ranger slots that I have available, at least until I pick up the companions to replace all of those. So going forward, this is the start of Ranger HQ.
I need to rest a spell. Catch my breath. That all right with you? I'm still healing up. Go out and find your footing while I get back on my feet. Oh man, more every day. This place is nice and all. Kinda majestic with all the mountains and wild weather, but it's hard to enjoy it when I know everybody back home is dying by inches. We gotta finish up our business with the Patriarch and get the supplies he promised us back home. People are counting on us. My folks are counting on us. Sorry, I just want to get this done and get back to them. Later.
No sudden moves around the Patriarch.
Pleased to meet you, Rangers. Don't let me hold you up. You have business in your new headquarters.
No sudden moves around the Patriarch.
Then find someone who will.
Alright, I'm going to toss a save here and show you something about the Patriarch.
Quit pawing at me. Fuck off!
So he does not like being pawed at. Usually that takes about 4 different interactions for him to do that. I don't want to lose the reputation on this, so I'm going to go ahead and load it back up. But he does have a couple of unique lines. He may not say them, but he does have a couple of unique lines there.
Quit pawing at me. Fuck off!
Yeah, I didn't get him to say it again. Alright. But yeah, he doesn't like being pawed at, so if you don't want to take that reputation, don't annoy the Patriarch.
Damn it.
Welcome, Rangers. I'm Marshal Darius Kwan, and this here's Sergei Greatsky.
The hockey player.
Good to meet you, Rangers. Glad to see some friendly faces. Been rough around here these last few days. Dorsey's attacked us too. Snuck inside Colorado Springs and killed a lot of people. Situation's under control now. Mostly. The Patriarch. Thank God they never got near him. He's the only thing keeping Colorado from tearing itself apart.
And sorry about these alarms. Something must have triggered the old security system. Trouble is, there's a bunch of angry robots guarding the computer that shuts them off. How you deal with them is your call. Your base, your rules. Yeah, weird, huh? They weren't active when we looked the place over a few days back, but... let's talk after you kill the alarms. I can hardly hear myself think. The security computer is up those stairs. You can shut off the alarm from there.
Word of warning with those servitors. They tend to go nuts if you ask them to disobey orders.
So this Welcome to Colorado quest completed upon getting to Ranger HQ. This one completed right at a Ranger HQ as you got to the Patriarch here. And this is the new quest.
Alarm, fire alarm. Alerting to you, intruder. Visit a secure, bunker-bed facility. You commit trespassing against. If authorization or you will be pathopathied.
Pathopathied. So you can just flat out attack these guys, get some XP. You can provoke them where they attack you and get XP. But if you kill these, then you're going to lose out on some unique dialogue that just randomly comes up in this room sometimes. So if you want to see that dialogue, don't kill them. The trinket that we picked up off the corpse of Jarrett, if you didn't want to spec any of your guys into sneaky shit to basically get through this encounter without killing them, you can equip that trinket before talking to them, and this option will be available to you.
With power restored, we are prepared to destroy foul intruders such as yourself. What are you eat? Prone for upgrades has not been equipped in 110 years.
110 years.
Create but deeper fuels while intruders have made switch up repairs in intervening time. Servitors await repairs at your speedy exit from secure bunker bed facility.
I think whoever programmed the servitors' conversation and voice and just the style that they did the servitors was right on it. I find these things amusing.
Well done, Rangers. Good to see the place up and running. Now, where were we? Oh, yes. The reason you're here. As you may know, I have a daughter and 2 sons. Liberty, Valor, and Victory. 2 of them conspired against me, and the third blackens the Buchanan name with every breath he takes. Consequently, I banished them. They've been skulking in the shadows ever since, but lately there's been rumors that I'm on my last legs. Lies, of course, but apparently my dear children believe them, and they've started making new plans. Peace? With those brats, you'd sooner tame a scorpion. I'm not worried about my children defeating me, Rangers. They won't. Not even Liberty. What worries me is the destruction they'll wreak as they fail. They'll tear my land and my people to shreds. They'll burn everything I've accomplished to ash. That's why they have to be stopped before they can start. That's why you, Rangers, have to find them and bring them home to me ASAP. And when I say bring them home, I mean bring them home alive. They're my blood. Kill them and we'll have a problem. Do I make myself clear? You've already done the impossible by making it here. I trust you. Find a way to make it possible. Now, let me tell you where they are. Victory's holed up in Aspen. Valor's under the protection of the Gippers in Denver. And Liberty's raising an army against me somewhere out on the Eastern Plains. Anything else you need to know? What do you want to know? Divided loyalty, that's why. I trust my guards, but they don't leave my side. Ever. Everybody else is making plans for when I'm gone. The 100 families, the Gippers, the Marshals, they're all out for themselves. And they know my kids would make good figureheads, give them some legitimacy. Any Coloradan I send to bring Vic, Val, and Libby back home might think they'll get a better deal elsewhere. But not you. I'm the only one who can save your people. Nobody else can get supplies to Arizona before they starve to death. That's why it's you who's doing this. You've got the only loyalty that works. The loyalty of self-interest. Boy's never been right in the head. Since he was a baby, he'd torture cats, terrorize the servants, set the house on fire, and he's only got worse. The things he's done to the women he finds. Anyway, I finally had enough and put the little monster under house arrest up in Aspen. Guess they weren't prepared because he escaped a while ago and then came back with a gang of freaks and turned the place into a slaughterhouse. Now he's on the radio, laughing about what he's gonna do to his hostages and daring me to come after him. He, claims he's captured some Rangers as well. Don't get your hopes up. Vic likes to play with hostages. Might not be much left by the time you find them. Soft, spoiled, fiddled with computers all day instead of learning the arts of diplomacy and war. Finally packed him off when he accidentally crashed my security systems right before his sister's little coup attempt. Made him my official ambassador to the Gippers, hoping he'd do to their systems what he'd done to mine. That was a mistake. He took his revenge by convincing them to cut off oil shipments to my city. No oil means no heat, no light, and no food for my people. So getting Valor back and resuming oil shipments from the Gippers has to happen now.
So that arc makes no sense. So he crashed the computer system, supposedly. So the Patriarch is sending him to the Gippers in hopes that he crashes their systems. But Colorado Springs relies on the oil the Gippers produce. So if he manages to crash their systems, that's going to interrupt the oil supply to Colorado Springs, which obviously he doesn't want. So the writing on this and the rationale behind that, it just doesn't make any sense. I don't know why they wrote this so badly.
Crazy cultists worship an old U.S. president as a god. Trouble is, they're the only ones who know how to refine oil anymore, so we gotta play nice.
So you send your son to crash the computer system, the people that are the only ones that know how to refine oil that you need for your city to survive. Dumb writing.
Liberty's got more brains and cunning than both her brothers put together. She's the only one who could actually run Colorado. Problem is, she'd run it as a goddamn slave state. Everyone in chains, everyone working for her. Wouldn't worry about her for now, though. Best to wait until you got a little more firepower. She's gonna be well protected. She's already tried once. Got all the way to the palace steps before we chased her off. She's been licking her wounds out east ever since. You'd better. Anything else? Uh-huh. The last dregs of a treacherous family. Thought I'd wiped them out years ago, but mistakes linger, Rangers. I know that better than most. Possibly, but I know the Dorseys from the old days. They don't take orders well. Then again, I wouldn't have guessed they'd have the guts to attack both you and Colorado Springs at the same time. So somebody put some fire in them. My staff and I coordinated the details of your arrival using coded transmissions on radio frequencies we thought were secure. Obviously, they were not. And you paid for it. I take full responsibility. Good. What else do you need?
Okay, since one of my main characters will be my main barterer, because I wanted to make this very convenient for me to play the game, you have this option.
Name him.
So of all these options, these are going to give you just some basic low-level gear, which you're going to already get quickly. So the only thing of value really in this whole thing is the demolitions. The frag grenades and the smoke grenades that you get will be, you'll use those.
Not ones for subtlety, huh? I'll have Joe send you a few things once we get back to Broadmoor Heights. Of course. Now, if you want a chance to impress me and maybe get a little payback, that call I got outside was from Sheriff Daisy, the head of the marshals in Colorado Springs. She's having trouble rousting some Dorseys who have been holed up in the Garden of the Gods since their raid fell apart. Why don't you go give her a hand? Show us what the Rangers can do. That's what I like to hear. I expect great things from you, Rangers. Do good work. All right, let's move out.
Alright, so these are the quests we picked up and completed. So, completed Home Away from Home. Picked up these primary missions. So, Home Away from Home. Cornered Rats. The Zealot. The Traitor. And the Psychopath.
Rangers, come talk to me when you've got a moment. Want to discuss staffing and recruiting, that kind of thing.
If you interact with any of these NPCs right now, you'll miss some dialogue here from Sergey.
Need to fill you in on a few things, Rangers. Still need to talk to you, Rangers.
He's a very impatient guy.
Good job, Rangers. Nice to be able to hear ourselves think again. And now that it's quiet enough to talk, let me reintroduce you to the great Sergey Greatsky, who's going to be helping you with personnel.
Hi again, Rangers. Damn sorry about your people. But now that you're here, we'll do what we can to get you back on your feet and find you some new recruits, just like the Patriarch promised you. And I already got you one of the best. Meet Marcelo Gonzalez, electronics wizard, radio technician, and former dispatcher for the Marshals. He'll be your radio operator.
Speedy! Whee!
Howdy, Rangers. While you were dealing with the alarms, I took the liberty of installing a combat AI in your vehicle. Should help you out. If you want to chat, I'll be in the operations room getting things up and running.
Should be more recruits arriving soon. Ready to tell me how you want to fill out your squad? Of course, ask away. Gonzalez? He's a whiz with stuff like that. The AI will allow you to give the vehicle orders in combat without having to be inside it. Basically, it'll become another member of your squad.
I wonder if it can launch nukes.
Well...
Well, Sergey won't blow his own horn, so I'll do it for him. He's Colorado's greatest war hero. Fought by the Patriarch's side from the beginning and saved the old man's life about 100 times, right, Sergey?
75. Tops. Now, let me tell you about Mr. Slick here. Nobody knows the streets and alleys of Colorado Springs, or the people that live there, better than dashing Darius Kwan.
You're too kind, Sergey. Yeah, I was getting a little itchy doing the same old in the Marshals.
And retirement was driving me stir-crazy. Just sitting around listening to the paint peel. I jumped at the chance to help you folks out.
It's no lie that I've been looking to leave the Marshals, but you're right. That's not the whole story. The Patriarch asked me to keep an eye on you, so here I am.
And I am truly sick of retirement. But, yeah, I'm doing the Patriarch a favor, too.
Let's say liaisons. The Patriarch wants you to succeed, and he knows it's not going to be easy. You're strangers in a strange land.
You don't know the politics. You don't know the personalities. Who hates who? Where the bodies are buried.
That's where we come in. We're here to make sure you don't make too many rookie mistakes, step on the wrong toes. And yeah, we're supposed to report back to the Patriarch about how you're doing. But you didn't really expect to be left completely to your own devices, did you?
Not sure exactly. We came by a week and a half ago and it was stone quiet.
We were gonna get the place cleaned up before you got here. But then the Dorseys attacked the city, so it got put on the back burner.
Something must have triggered the security systems between then and now. Could have been anything. Patriarch chased out the last big gang maybe 10 years back. Before that, all kinds of bandits, militias, and cults have lived here since the deluge.
Recently, it's been mostly outlaws and refugees. We should check around to see if there are any current occupants.
Could be what set off the alarms.
Around these parts, we call the nuclear apocalypse the deluge of fire, because, well, that's what it was.
Noah's flood was the deluge of water. The nukes were the deluge of fire. Okay, what's next? My advice is to put together a squad with complementary skills. Nobody can be great at everything. So pick recruits who are good at things your current team isn't. And you can always round out your squad with folks you meet along the way. Keep that in mind when you're choosing from the recruits I've rounded up.
So we'll make these in the next episode.
Listen, I can get you all the fighting troops you need. But if you meet any talented people in your travels, don't hesitate to sign them up. Now that we've got that sorted, let's talk about the next steps. Now, you're the boss here, so I'm not going to tell you what to do, but getting this place up and running wouldn't be a bad place to start. That means surveying the base and finding specialists to staff it. Yep, she's got her hands full. Helping Daisy would be a great way of finding your feet before you go after the Patriarch's kids.
Well, Daisy might be able to hook you up with some specialists for the base, too.
I'll start cleaning up here, but take a look around before you go. See if you want to keep any of this junk before I dump it all. Anyway, your call. Colorado Springs is straight out the main gate. If you want to go to Denver or Aspen, just hop back in your car and go out the way you came in.
One sec. Forgive me for saying so, but I'm guessing you folks are gonna need as much help in the field as you will here in HQ. So, what if I joined your squad? At least until you find your feet. Well, I know this city like the back of my hand. And this city knows me. My time in the Marshals means I've got connections and trusted informants everywhere. Plus, I'm a sure shot and a decent scrapper. And, though it hurts my civic pride to say it, there are places around here where those things might come in handy.
You can pick up Marshal Kwan right now, but if you do, you're gonna lose an opportunity to talk to him and get some more dialogue, which you may be able to do later on in the game, but it's easier just to do it right now, so don't let him join.
Fine. That's fine. Just let me know if you change your minds.
Okay, so we picked up another primary mission, Full House.
What can I do for y'all?
This is his default line. Each of these NPCs, in fact, almost every single NPC that you recruit or get into Ranger HQ throughout the game will have multiple random unique lines that you will not see these lines unless you interact with them consistently throughout the game, and it's dependent on story, on how far along on the story. So you may miss some of this if you're not interacting with each NPC at various stages of the game, and it's really annoying because the responses are completely random. the unique ones. Like, you could sit here and talk to him 40 times in a row and get this, what can I do for y'all? And each other NPC has a similar statement like that that tells you that's the default statement. And you won't get those unique lines. They should have programmed it to where all the unique lines that each NPC has, you can click on them, hear the unique lines, and when you hear their default line, then you know there's no more unique lines available for you at that point in time, and then you can move on and talk to somebody else. I just think whoever programmed the randomness of this was an idiot.
You trying to get me in trouble with Daisy? The marshals are great. The best. Okay, that's... Well, we're fine. They're fine. But if they were perfect, the Patriarch wouldn't have called you, right? The problem with the marshals is, we don't work for the people of Colorado Springs. We work for the Patriarch. And that means we're more enforcers than police, which can lead to a certain, smugness among some of the troops. They know they're untouchable. They know citizen complaints aren't going to be listened to, mostly. So they think they can do whatever they want. And they do. So, they're not loved, the marshals. Not trusted either. Hey, you'd have to be a saint not to take advantage once in a while, and I'm no saint. I'll take a bribe here and there, if offered. But I'm not a shakedown artist like some guys are. I never put the boots to somebody who didn't deserve it. I figure, if it's against the rules, but it ain't hurting nobody, why report it? As long as I get a cut, right? I try not to. Seriously, it's above my pay grade. There's a crisis coming for sure. The old man's on his last legs. His kids are a nightmare. And nobody else around here has the power and smarts to pick up the reins when he drops them. I'm just glad it's not my job to think about it. My job is to do what the Patriarch says until he dies, then do what Daisy says after that. Hopefully neither of those things involves hurting too many people along the way, but if it does, well, that's my job. Remember who you're working for, and remember what it means if you fail him. Sure.
So, of the random dialogue lines that you can see, I think some of them are bugged because you're able to get them here at Ranger HQ right now if you spend long enough time clicking on these son of a bitches. And some of these lines are going to be about events that you haven't encountered yet. So, you know, it was just shoddy programming on this part. But I'll see if I can get a couple of the random lines to show up just to give you an idea.
What can I do for y'all?
So that's a standard.
Sure. We going after Nellius soon? I mean, no rush. I fucking hate the mountains.
So this is one of the lines that I think is bugged. Like, you don't know who Nellius is. You've never encountered the name yet. You have no idea what he is. So this line should not have popped up at this stage. They should have programmed that better.
Sure. What can I do for y'all? Sure. What can I do for y'all? Sure. No pressure, but this place could still use a working armory. You know, it doesn't hurt to travel with a full deck of cards. If you need my help, just let me know. Anyway, what can I do for y'all?
Okay, so he has several unique lines like that about Ranger HQ. And again, like I said, he's got a couple other lines that are about things that you have not encountered yet. So I have another video out on his lines. If you want to look at that, it's somewhere on YouTube. Anyway, moving on.
Great. I'm at your disposal. Lead the way.
Now, if you could have declined to have him in the party and talk to Greatski without Quan in the party, But then you would not have the dialogue that goes between Sergei and Quan in this interaction. So, and I don't believe there's anything unique that you get from Gretzky without Quan being in there, so there's no purpose in him not being in the group at this point.
Rangers, good to see you. Well, I've got friends in the Marshals, the Patriarch's Palace Guard, and some local militias. They've always got more folks wanting to sign up than they have positions for. So I asked my pals to send over everybody on their waiting lists. Now, some of these folks may be, less than top grade for sure, but most will be solid recruits, ready and willing to learn. You'll have to pick and choose. Happy to tell you what you need to know.
What you need to know.
Well, came here with my folks when I was a kid, and was a young man when Saul was trying to unite the families and make Colorado a state. I got behind him right away. He had leader written all over him, even back then. I've served at his side ever since, fighting against the monster army, consolidating power here in town, helping him expand our borders.
What Mr. Greatsky means is that he played a key role in many of the Patriarch's greatest victories. And he had no small part in making Colorado what it is today.
You're too kind, Darius. Well, the fighting's never really ended. Trying to hold it all together is a constant struggle. This business with his children is just the latest in a long line of troubles. I do indeed. Some folks can't get past his brusque ways, but that's just the impatience of a man who knows what's right, dealing with fools who don't. He cares too deeply about the well-being of the people of Colorado to let political courtesy slow him down. Of course, you'll hear a lot of folk condemning him for hurting this group or that group with his decisions, but the way I see it, they should be glad it wasn't them who had to make the choice. Stories? They are stories indeed these days. I've told him so many times all the truth's been wrung out of him. Now, let's see. Here's one. So, one day we were hunting monster army raiders and came upon a tin-walled shack. The people inside were shooting at us and not answering our calls to parley. Well, I got sick of that real quick and unslung my rocket launcher. But Saul, he holds up a finger, then creeps around behind the compound. Well, pretty soon we hear him smashing through those tin walls with his hammer, and then comes two high-pitched screams. A few moments later, he comes striding out, carrying a child under each arm. They've been shooting at us because they thought we were coming to eat their dying parents. Now, I will never know how Saul knew it was kids in there rather than raiders, but somehow he did. And we brought them and their folks back to the city and helped them out until they got well again. And he's always been like that. An uncanny ability to always do the right thing. Give me a while and I'll see if I can remember any more. In the meantime, I'm sure you have plenty to do. Happy to. What's on your mind? Anytime, Rangers. Always happy to tell war stories. Happy to. What's on your mind? I'll be here. Rangers, good to see you.
So that's Sergey's default line.
I'll be here. Rangers, good to see you. I'll be here. Rangers, good to see you. I'll be here. Rangers, good to see you. I'll be here.
I don't know if any of his unique lines can pop up.
If we don't
yet.
want the Dorseys to keep coming back like a cancer, we better track Nellius down and finish him off once and for all.
Okay, so yes, they can pop up. And again, this Nelius line should not be accessible at this point. I don't think they intended for anybody to keep clicking on these things. I don't know why they thought this line should still be in the game at this point. It's just an oversight in programming, I guess.
Now, what can I help you with?
I love how he takes like 5 seconds to say now. It's kind of annoying as you progress the game and you're interacting with Sergey just to listen to the possible lines he has in each instance that happens in the game, you know, consequences and whatnot. When you're trying to find out what he wants to say about it and going through this guy, you know, his random lines, just clicking on him to hear the random lines, and he always goes, now. What can I help you with? I mean, it's just an extended pause that just annoys the shit out of me.
I'll be here.
You know, poor Gonzalez. Here he is. He's got this desk, his radio equipment, and he doesn't have a seat. Maybe he does have a seat. I just didn't notice it's behind the wall, but I don't think he is. He's just standing here the entire time. I think he want to sit down.
Welcome to your communications hub, Rangers. The Patriarch was good enough to let me use my own gear, and I have my high-frequency radio equipment all set up. From here on out, I will be your voice in the wind. You can contact Ranger HQ at any time through your radio, and I'll reach out as needed. When there's arrests to be made under your authority, just radio them into me. Pleasure to serve. I'm your radio communications expert. I'll be manning the radio whenever you call in, or whenever we need to reach you, which is the easy part of this job. The hard part is keeping this equipment in tip-top shape and ready to go. Oh, I'm not. It just turns out artificial intelligence isn't that much different from fiddling with radios. Easy enough to install, it turned out, but I wouldn't know the first thing about it otherwise. The finest setup you'll find this side of the Rockies. This equipment took years to get together. A lot of it custom work. String and pieces of gum, you know? This is the only setup in Colorado able to communicate on all sorts of frequency bands, up to the HF band. That means we can reach you pretty much no matter where you are in Colorado. The basic controls are straightforward. You should try the device yourselves whenever you're here. I've picked up all kinds of signals. It's possible you could even reach Arizona. I've worked the radio for some time now, and I hear all kinds of stories from other parts of the world. Horrors you wouldn't believe. Is Colorado perfect? No, but it's a damn sight better than any alternative I've seen. Speaking frankly, great. Protect and serve, right? Things had grown stale with the Marshals. I felt like I'd reached the end of what I could do for the people there. Proud to be a Ranger now. Anytime.
So no, poor Gonzalez, he has no chair here. I mean, he could, you know, drag one of these over, but he's just gonna stand there. I don't know if Gonzalez has unique lines right now.
Always a pleasure.
That's his default.
Anytime. Always a pleasure. Anytime. Always a pleasure. Anytime. Always a pleasure. Anytime. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, he may
Anytime.
not have any default lines right now, but he will soon. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and end the episode here with some last little commentary on the voice acting. So I thought the voice actor for Sergei Gretzky was terrific, and Marshall Kwan, I wasn't as thrilled with the voice acting, but it wasn't bad. It was, you know, passable. As far as Gonzalez, his voice acting, it was plain. You know, I didn't see really much personality in his voice acting. And Jodie Bell, I'm kind of up in the air on her voice acting. Later on, you'll get more interactions with her if you bring her along with the group. But yeah, I'm kind of up in the air on her voice acting. Once you start getting your companions and you start looking at the picture profiles that, you know, the actual picture profile, you'll find that of all the companions that I've seen and all the other characters, Jodie Bell is actually the best looking female in the entire game, which is, it doesn't really match the voice, but anyway. So I'm going to pick up the next episode with creating the 2 Rangers, and I'll show you how I'm going to, you know, basically set up my team to be able to do all the skills checks that I want to do with my 6-man team. We'll pick up Lucia Wesson in downtown Colorado Springs, and that'll fill out the 6 after I create the 2. And that'll be in the next episode, some point in time. Later.